Corey Chambers reporting with FOS Network today, and I'm standing here today with Lehigh Valley and District 11 dual all-state athlete, Sean Kinney. Sean, hi, thank you for spending some time with us today and talking to us today.
Thank you very much.
Sean, over the last couple of years, you've been a polarizing athlete here in the Lehigh Valley, right? Three-time PIAA all-state. The one time you didn't win state, you won second as a freshman, right? First team all-state defensive line. Can you just start off by talking a little bit about what those accolades mean to you?
It means a lot. My whole life been working and my family pushing me and to see it all pay off. And my 4 years in high school, it was pretty cool.
Nice. And again, very polarizing player, right? So a lot of coverage on you over the last 4 years, a ton of it. And let's be honest, a lot of it might have weighed a little bit more towards wrestling, right? We all know your wrestling recruitment is crazy. And Sean Kinney comes up and tells everybody he's doing what?
Playing football.
And where are you going to play football?
Playing Lafayette.
Which, a little part of me is like, why didn't he go to a service academy, right?
Yeah. Already was up there.
But let me tell you, all of me is happy I get to see you the next 4 years and get to be right here. We get to cover you, we get to see the growth. Tell us a little bit about what that decision was to just go with football.
It definitely wasn't easy. The easiest way I can explain it to people is I've always been a football player that wrestles and not the other way around. I've always been in a football family. Football's always been like my first love, so the decision definitely wasn't easy when all the big schools for wrestling started coming in, but I do well.
And we were just talking about how Kale was at the Northampton game, right? And you get all that fanfare. So the pressure must have been tremendous. I read some articles about your father, right? And how he gives you insight on your decisions. Can you talk a little bit about how important that was to you to have a father that was able to come along the way and give you that insight? Your dad, we just talked, right?
Yeah.
Played on that Lycoming runner-up team with somebody that I had played with a little bit, Jason Marancini. So talk a little bit about how important it was to have a dad that had that experience a little bit and kind of walk you along the way.
Yeah, I mean he's been pushing me and helping me really every step of the way, and it's easier to make those decisions when you know you have a family that supports you. Me and my dad butted heads a couple times about it, but as soon as my decision was made, he went to the bookstore, got Lafayette gear, and was ready to go. So it's cool.
I know that's the truth. Again, I know me personally, I'm excited. I grew up at the Lafayette Hills Apartments, right up the road from there, and I remember coming down. I believe the Jets used to scrimmage the Redskins there. And speaking of which, let me ask you, what does it mean to you already to be able to take part in the awesome tradition of Lehigh Lafayette?
It's amazing. I know Lafayette's turning their stuff around, and Lehigh's on their way too. So trying to get that rivalry back to where it used to be back in one of the best FCS rivalries in the country.
I like that. And you just mentioned something that we're all aware of right now. Lafayette, college football playoff last year. They went to Lehigh. Didn't look like it was going to go the way it did at first, right? Lehigh goes up 14 real quick, and then they just put their foot down. Coach Trox over there is doing some amazing things. Can you talk about him a little bit and like what was it that he was able to really sell you on?
Just a family atmosphere. He's a P-Bird guy, so he knows all the local the ins and outs of the local football around here. He's recruiting very heavily right now, but just the turnaround they had this year, it's not by accident. I mean, he's leading the charge, and he's a great head coach, and he's someone I'm ready to play for.
Awesome, great answer, Sean. I'm going to wrap this up here, right? We're right here. We're not over at the high school, right? We're over at the junior high, right? You've been in Nazareth your whole life. The last 4 years in high school, doing these great accomplishments. Tell us what it's meant to be part of this Blue Eagles family. What the wrestling culture, right? It's like one of the top in the nation. We're not talking top in PA. And what are you going to miss about this the most, being right on this campus?
Like you said, the community, I mean, it has our backs. That district championship game, you could see the Parkland's a way bigger school, but our fans definitely showed out, and they was full on our side. And then, I mean, wrestling speaks for itself. I think we have the best community in the country for wrestling. Nobody really does what we do, and I'm gonna miss having all the people have our backs.
Well, you're not going to have to miss us too much, Sean, because we're going to be cheering you on every single Saturday when you're out there on the gridiron. And who knows, something tells me we might see you hit a mat here and there over your college career. And to me, right, not to sound cliche or do the politically correct coverage thing here, the thing that impresses me about you the most is you're a scholar athlete, right? So can you talk a little bit about that and what the requirements were as far as your GPA and stuff to get that?
Yeah, so it's 40% academic, 40% athletic, and 20% community service. So I had the athletic part, community service. I'm in a bunch of different clubs, and then the academic part is just, I mean, my parents would kill me if I didn't have good grades. So the teachers at Nazareth are very helpful, and if you're involved in clubs and stuff, you do your community service. So you really can boil it down to I'm not allowed to have bad grades. So.
I know that's right? Because there's no field without the classroom. We all know that. Again, it's a very cliche statement, but we all know that to be true. You can't play if you're not making the grades. And that's why this is so impressive. We have a two-sport, all-state athlete that maintains grades good enough to get a scholar recognition, right? And can you tell us, and for all the other athletes, right, that are looking at you, that are going to mock themselves, all these little Nazareth Blue Eagles, right, these Clippers, right, that are running around here saying, oh, I'm Sean Kinney, right? We all did it.
Yeah.
Explain to them how important that was in your recruiting.
It's very important. I mean, at my freshman and sophomore year, my freshman year, really, my grades weren't the best. The virtual days because of COVID, it kind of threw me off a little bit. So by the time coaches came in, it was like, oh, this and that when I was a sophomore, but I turned it around my junior year. They saw the improvement, so they were still willing to recruit me, and I mean, from that point on, it wasn't ever an issue.
Nice. That's awesome, and it's good that these kids have to understand that, because we see so many athletes. I'm sure you played with them. We all know some of them that they just couldn't get it right in the classroom, and unfortunately their career is just derailed right there, and it stops right there. Yeah. Right, Sean, I do have one more question for you here, right? Take sports out of the equation, right? What's one thing we need to know about Sean Kinney? Like, what's your passion? What do you do? What occupies your time? I know it's sports, right? We all know it's sports, but
right now, since I have no sports, it's a lot of golf. I'm doing golfing a lot. I'm not very good. I'm all right. I've been golfing a lot. Going with my family, my whole family. It's a way for us to still be competitive because my parents are pretty good. My mom's she might be the best athlete in the family. So
that's how it always works. That's where it all comes from, right?
Exactly.
Is having that one female in your family that has all that strength with them and just gives it out to the rest of the bloodline. Yeah. Sean, I love your answer so much. Leave it up to a true athlete like you to substitute athletics with another sport, right? In your free time. Thank you so much, Sean. Again, folks, you heard it here first. Sean Kinney, Lafayette Leopards' next best defensive lineman, in my opinion, right? Coming on to the team. I'm Corey Chambers reporting for FOS Network.